Welcome everyone to the Galaxy Geeks channel. Today we are doing our Galaxy Hangout, trying to do new stuff, do different discussions. We are going to be talking about the conversations around Guardians of the Galaxy. We're talking about Antman today. We're going to talk about Jonathan's favorite subject, and that is Velma. We are also going to giving our spoiler review, as much non-spoiler, but some spoilers within The Last of Us episode 1, that episode, which was just incredible. And then, am I missing anything? Oh, Mandalorian. Yeah, we're talking about Mandalorian tonight, which I'm very excited about. And December SpongeBob, hi. Also, we have a couple of questions in the poll that I released earlier today, but also we will release I'll be looking at the live chat after the end of the show, and we're going to go through the live chat and have a conversation. If a super chat comes in, we will immediately stop the show to address that super chat because it's money. So, in saying that, if you haven't already, hit that like button, because more people who hit that like button means that more people can see this episode and can push out more. We can do more discussions and hangouts like these, because I kind of like this. It's a lot more chill and relaxed and
Not as cramped.
Yeah, the closet's a little cramped. Gotta love the closet, right?
Right.
Or our studio.
Studio.
I
mean, it's technically an office. So.
Yeah, it's an office. It's just a very, very cramped
office, closet. They all work.
Yeah. So just go ahead and say, if you haven't already, hit that like button because we want to hit it out. And the first discussion that we are going to have is on Adam Warlock from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. We got a new look today from Empire Magazine. Wow, why did I call it magazines? But we got a new photo from it. Basically, this is Space Jesus. That's what they always call him in the comics, because he came from space to Earth to basically save it from a kind of like this demonic being looking beast thing.
Yeah, a type of Ghost Rider level entity. So he's basically coming to wipe out the evil or sin.
Yeah, and he gets crucified on a cross.
Yeah.
So Space Jesus.
Okay.
Space Jesus, who is gold and beyond Omega level.
So let me ask you this. How do you feel that this type of character is going to fit in Guardians Volume 3?
I'm just not sure the dynamic that they're taking, whether he'll be integrated fully, or whether it will mainly focus on the Guardians, Rocket's backstory, and the villain that they have going into the movie. The problem is that he's just so powerful, he's beyond Omega level, that it would be very easy for him to take out the Guardians.
That's why I say I don't know if he's fully going to be a bad guy, quote unquote.
Yeah. I'm not sure whether he is fully in the control of what was the race the golden chick.
What is it? In the live chat, let us know what is the alien species for Adam Warlock, because I'm lost. I don't remember.
Yeah, the very pompous, egotistical narcissists that believe that they were better. But yeah, I'm not sure whether he will be completely integrated under her control, or whether this movie will see a slow awakening to him in the end.
Well, James Gunn did state with the release of the photo that everything is new to Adam Warlock. He's basically like a baby. I mean, he's going to have his intelligence, but everything is so new to him.
Okay, so they're taking the Young Justice Superboy approach to it.
Yeah.
Which he was technically under control, but he was experiencing everything for the first time.
Yeah, I think it works. I'm excited to see what happens with
I'm
with
interested to see this actor because I haven't seen him in a role like this before. I'm aware of him from a lot of other films, but
I mean,
the two that come to mind are Maze Runner and his when he was a boy was Narnia.
I also think of him in Road Trip, or not Road Trip. It was he goes.
We're the Millers.
We're the Millers. Thank you. Oh, that was a movie. That happened. That was that was a movie that happened.
Gotta say, the dude got jacked, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's a word for it. I honestly, he looks so good. So
Mhm.
I'm excited to see. Any thoughts before we dive next?
I mean, I don't know a whole lot about the character other than what you told me, but I'm excited to see where they're going with it.
I mean, are y'all excited for Guardians 3?
Yeah,
Oh,
but
yeah.
I feel like it's gonna be heartbreaking.
We've got 3 Marvel movies coming out this year. You got Guardians 3, you got the Marvels, and then you got Antman Quantumania. Which one is y'all's most anticipated, do you think?
Guardians for me.
Guardians?
Probably Guardians.
Guardians. Is it weird? I'm very curious how the Marvels is going to be. I was not a huge fan of Captain Marvel, but I loved Miss Marvel. I thought she was excellent in the role.
Mhm.
And I think what they're doing with her is really interesting.
Yeah, I think I'm more excited for Guardians 3 just because with the Marvels, I don't really have the emotional investment that the Guardians has given me yet.
Yeah.
With them, I know this is going to probably be a tearjerker.
Yeah. One sec. Report. We have a spam bot.
Spam.
We've made it.
We're big time now. We got spam.
Right?
Sorry, gotta love having to do this in the chat.
You getting rid of it?
Yep. Hide user from this channel. There we go. All right, it's fixed.
Hmm.
Deleted. We're good. All right. Wanted to clear up the chat. But yeah, I'm excited for Guardians Volume 3. So our next discussion is Ant-Man Quantumania. And we got some new photos for Empire as well. This is the first one is Kang in the chair, basically. It's his time traveling chair. Well, probably multiversal chair. Where y'all think of Kang?
I definitely love the suit. It's very traditional to the comics. And I really appreciate we don't have a lot of this Kane, but I'm already liking him a lot more than the variation we got in Loki.
I liked him in Loki. I actually did. I thought it was a very interesting move to go with the way they did him in Loki. Do you remember him in Loki?
A little bit, yeah.
What'd you think of him?
I'm trying to remember. It's been a little while since we've seen Loki.
He was the one basically at the end of the show.
I remember he was at the end.
He was just kind of like I'm mysterious.
Somewhat, he was also the immortal god that I've seen everything, and so nothing surprises me, and I'm always and forever.
Yeah.
This one seems more along the space dictator.
Yeah, that's Kang.
Yeah, that's Kane, and truthfully, I kind of like this version better almost than the comic books because I don't know. He's always been this central figure in the comic books, but he hasn't always really put fear into me.
He was more squirmy and like almost. He was just
like every time he's been portrayed in at least animated media, he hasn't really struck the chord that I wanted him to. This one, I think the actor will do an excellent job at portraying the fear that's supposed to go along with it.
I mean, what they're setting up is very interesting. The next photo we've got is, I don't actually. What was his name? Something Jackson.
They haven't announced his character, have they?
No. They have not. Okay, William Jackson Harper. Google saying Kuzaz. Quaz? I can't.
I'm not familiar.
I'm not for sure either. But gotta remember this too. There's a lot of Guardians or space characters that kind of pop up that I don't know much about.
Well, the Guardians went through many variations, so I'm not familiar with all the variations that they go through.
Yeah, but all right. Then the next one is Hope Van Dyne. Not Hope. Janet Van Dyne.
Yeah, the original.
That photo looks sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would get that printed. I mean, it's cool.
No, that make a good poster for the show, definitely. The movie.
What are y'all thinking? Like, what's your anticipations around Ant-Man?
I feel like we're going to see what all she was up to while she was gone.
How much connection do you think she has to Kang?
Maybe quite a bit.
I don't know. She seemed very afraid when they opened the hole. So
Yeah.
it's clear that she's probably at least encountered his men before, if not him himself.
What do you think MODOK has to do with any of it?
I'm not really sure MODOK's place in this, and I know it's not the traditional MODOK that we see in the comic books that was created by AIM. This is basically the shrunken head of the Yellow Jacket, the Yellow Jacket character from the first.
His name's Corey Stoll, but what I can't remember what his character name was.
Wait, his human name was?
Yeah, or what his character in Antman was. I can't
Yeah.
remember. But that's the nice thing about Google, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure what his place is going to be. I mean, him and Scott had a confrontation in the first one, but I'm just not sure how he fits into Kane's master plan, what he has become, or if it's basically just going to be the human man speaking out of this giant head. Maybe it's just comedy relief. I don't know.
I don't think it's gonna be as comedy relief because the tone of this movie. I mean, there will be some hints of comedy, but it seemed very dark. It seemed. Let me ask: does Scott come out of this alive?
I feel like if they put that part in the trailer where it's like, I don't have to win. I just have to make sure neither one of us wins. I kind of feel like that's just a bit too on the nose. I feel like he will survive.
Let me ask this. Here's a better question: does Cassie live?
Yeah, that will be the question. I mean, that's his whole motivation for doing this, for taking the deal.
I mean, we've seen characters lose like their parents. We've seen that a lot, but we've never saw a parent lose a child. So what do you think that would look like?
Could be, or he could even lose his Wasp, and his daughter had to take on the role as his partner.
That would not be fun. But I mean, I'm curious to see. I do love who they have for the roles. I'm excited for the movie. You gonna watch it with me? Comes out in March.
Not too far off.
Also, yeah, we won't be at Disney yet, or we'd already been to Disney by the time that movie comes out. No, wait, the movie comes out in February. What am I talking about?
We all have jobs, and we're all talking out of our heads.
I'm always talking out of my head. Where are you talking? But before we dive into the next discussion, everyone, let us know in the live chat what are you thinking? Like, what were you thinking of the movies? Also, hit that like button because that helps this video keep going out to a lot more people. So, in saying that, our next discussion, I'm gonna wait for the next one because I want to make Jonathan angry with this. Our next discussion is Velma, the best show on the internet. The just amazing, wonderful, just the best. I love it so much.
Complete and utter hot garbage.
Jonathan, sugarcoat it, why don't you?
Okay, unfunny.
Oh, okay.
That's as kind as I can be.
All right, Audrey, you go ahead and start out. You watched the first.
You showed me the first little bit of it. I did not laugh once, and I'm like, can we please watch something else?
My problem with the show, the literal first 5 minutes, you come into a school with a bunch of nude students. These are students. Even if they're 18, this feels wrong. It's gross. You're doing it for the comedy. You're trying to be comedic with it or make a statement. That's the problem with the show. Instead of trying to focus on the joke and making things funny, it's focusing more on the messaging and more on the message. But also, they are not very clear with the message. They have this character of Velma, who is supposed to be the smart one, but you don't like her. She's not very likable at all. She's kind of a jerk. She's not funny to anyone, and she even cheats off someone else's homework. So the main character is not likable, so you're not really enjoying watching her character go, and she's so focused on her messaging. It's frustrating to watch this show a lot of times.
Even the main thing where it's like supposedly her mom disappears. That's the whole premise. But it's never clear what the detective work she did where her mother disappeared. It seems more like the mom just up and left because she is a terrible human being who literally hates everybody, is judgmental of everybody, and there's not a single good character in this show. Everybody is just a stereotype of the worst type of stereotype of that caricature of individual.
And it's really interesting that we talk about like them changing the characters' races, and that can work if you give good characters. But the problem is they changed their race and then made them caricatures of that race and also of the characters.
In a really offensive way.
Oh, very offensive. Like, honestly, it's very offensive the way they treat people, the way that they do Fred. Oh my goodness, I want to scream because Fred, they just make him an idiot. I mean, an actual idiot boy. I mean, they keep making fun of his small penis, and that's the main thing of his personality. I'm like,
same thing for Daphne. She basically becomes this degenerate, popular girl, in her own words, slut. She used that word for herself.
But the problem is, you see that throughout the show that they just don't. They're not giving you good characters. They're just, what?
And there's no reason for it to be called Velma or have anything to do with Scooby Doo. They don't act like the original characters. It's not funny adult comedy like Family Guy, which actually says certain things about culture, but it actually does so in a smart way that's relatable. And
you can make statements. You can actually have an ideology, but make sure it's funny. Make sure that you're making people laugh. I think we laughed a couple times. There was a couple jokes that were kind of funny, but it was more of a chuckle. There's no point where you're just feeling like you're laughing out loud a lot. It's like, there's points, but
no matter what way you come down the show, whatever you believe, the show is just unfunny because it's not relatable. The characters have no growth.
And me and Jonathan watched the first and second episode today. I'd already watched the first episode, and I let Jonathan watch it.
I watched under duress.
Well, you see, but like the show just was not great, and I hate to say that because I like to give things a chance. I do. I mean, I did not go into the show trying to hate on it. I just really enjoy Scooby Doo, and it didn't even have Scooby.
It didn't have Scooby Doo, and Norval's dad, as they call him, looked more like the original character, and I'm just not. The show was a disappointment. If I had any expectations, it would be a disappointment.
Yeah. Anything you want to say? Not for you.
It's not for me.
You didn't want to just like sit and like watch every episode over and over again?
No.
Wow. And saying that, everyone hit the like button. Like, if you haven't already, we're trying to grow the video, and also kind of curious your thoughts on Velma. Like, did you like it? Did you not? Kind of curious your thoughts. So,
did you never want to see it again?
That's yeah. So, in saying that, our next discussion is, and this is one I'm actually really excited about, is we've got the Mandalorian season, the new trailer, official trailer. Wow. It's coming out tonight, which I am so excited about. I have Audrey hidden right now. I'm sorry, Audrey. But we've got the Mandalorian trailer coming out tonight. Since I hid her first, Audrey, what's your thoughts on the Mandalorian? What are you expecting to see?
I am so excited, and I've got a feeling like you will have to watch Rebels before watching this next season, because I feel like that they're going to put a big emphasis on the Darksaber and a fight over it. I'm so excited for that. And also, too, I hope we see more Luke.
So you think we'll get Luke on this season?
I hope so. I want to see more Luke and more Ahsoka. I want to maybe hopefully see more like with Luke with the Jedi Temple and like everything that's gonna like. I know like there's like a whole lot of Star Wars books, and he has a love interest, So would we see any of that?
I'd love to see a Mara Jade. I'm not gonna lie, I would love a Mara Jade. Why can't we get Mara Jade? I want Mara Jade so bad.
Don't know if we will, but it's a hope.
Let me ask y'all this. So do y'all think Ahsoka's gonna be in the season? Because we've got her show coming out soon. She's gonna be shooting that. So
I mean, as much as I would like to see Ahsoka, they're probably going to save her for her show.
I have a feeling they're going to. I think
think
they're.
so?
Yeah, I think you're going to see Ahsoka and Sabine this season.
I want to see Sabine so bad.
I have a feeling you're gonna see them. I think you want to set it up for in the Mandalorian to get people to go over and watch Ahsoka, even though they've been setting up Ahsoka so well.
We
I mean,
already got a good bit of scenes with her in season 2.
and in Book of Boba Fett.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Is it bad though? They have said this, and I kind of agree with it. That Book of Boba Fett was like Mandalorian 2.5.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the progression of the story happened in Book of Boba Fett.
The most memorable parts.
Yeah, because I gotta admit, until you reminded me of it, I forgot that was made.
Well, let me ask y'all this. Do you think if someone did not watch Book of Boba Fett, they're going to be lost when Mandalorian Season 3 comes out?
Yeah. You could probably watch the most significant parts if you haven't seen it and be caught up on it, though.
You can literally watch 3 episodes.
Yeah.
The final 3 episodes, you could watch a Book of Boba Fett and be okay.
Because, not gonna lie, I enjoyed it overall, but the beginning was very slow.
Well, you're not wrong there. It was
unreasonably slow.
Yeah, it was not the. I liked it. I mean, I liked the Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah,
it was fun.
Yeah, I had
fun.
fun with it.
But it's just kind of one of those things. It's like, in terms of tier mark, it's not my highest rated Star Wars show, but it's not my bottom tier either.
Let me ask y'all this: what's your top Star Wars shows right now?
Star Wars shows is definitely Mandalorian. It's going to be at the top of the list.
Audrey?
I mean, I'm really excited for the next season of Mandalorian, but I cannot wait for Ahsoka.
So, well, I'm just saying, like the shows that have already come out.
That have already come out. Okay.
Yeah. What would you say is the top? You've got Obi-Wan. You've got Andor. You've got
Mandalorian.
Mandalorian. So you're saying Mandalorian's your top?
Mandalorian.
What would be second?
I mean, Andor was pretty good.
Third?
Mm,
Obi-Wan or Book of Boba Fett?
I did like Obi-Wan.
So Obi-Wan, then Book of Boba Fett last?
I don't know. I think I would. I don't know. What would you rank?
Oh, this is hard. So it's a half question or half answer. I'm gonna cheat. So the best is Mandalorian, hands down. Second is the last 3 episodes of Book of Boba Fett. Okay, that's a cheat. I know it is. All right, so I gotta go Mandalorian. I guess I gotta go Andor, Obi-Wan, and Book of Boba Fett. But man, I'm struggling on the Andor and Obi-Wan. I could switch them any day. It's not that Andor is a better show. It's a much better show.
It's a slow grow, but it's a good show.
Oh yeah.
It's a great spy kind of political affairs within the Star Wars universe, especially from an outsider's point of view on Star Wars. It actually made me like it a lot more. Versus Obi-Wan, I really enjoyed the parts when he got to actually facing Anakin.
That was
probably the best part of Obi-Wan.
Yeah. I guess that's why I really put Obi-Wan up there, because of those fights with Vader. I mean, that was so interesting. If they just focused it on Obi-Wan and Vader, that show would been good.
Because even the flashbacks with him and Anakin training were so...
Yeah, that was cool.
So emotional.
It was so good. But in saying that, I guess that's the end for our Mandalorian discussion. Anything y'all want to talk about on it before we move on?
I'm ready for the trailer tonight.
So you're actually going to stay up late with me to watch it?
I think we'll have to stay up late to watch it.
Even more than last week? Even though you wanted to strangle me last week? It was late.
It was very late.
I'm hoping they release this trailer not at the third quarter like they did last week. It needs to be on at the halftime. It's on ESPN tonight. That's where it's coming out on. I don't know what time. My guess is it's past 6:30. I'm excited. I cannot wait for this trailer to release. And we'll do our reaction tonight. I mean, you'll get to watch us, like, so pop on and, like, say hi, like, comment on it, because I'm loving doing reactions and everything else. So, in saying that, our final discussion, and I think the one that's going to last a little bit longer, is our The Last of Us. We did watch the first episode last night. We're going to give our review. We'll probably give our spoiler review within this because it's hard to not talk about the show without spoiling it. So if you have not watched episode 1, come back and watch this show later on, or watch this later on. Tell us what you thought of the episode. I'd hate to see y'all leave, but I also want us to be able to have a great discussion about the show and kind of everyone's thoughts on it. So, in saying that, Audrey, what was your thoughts on The Last of Us episode 1?
It was very intense. Like, I mean, I haven't watched all The Walking Dead, but I've watched a good bit of The Walking Dead. I was like more on the edge of my seat watching this.
Really? How come?
I don't know, like just the way it was set up, the first part of it, it was just so, like, it got into the story quick. And, like, I don't know, like, there was so much emotion. And I think we all agreed talking earlier, we were all ready to cry.
Oh man, the beginning of the episode, I think it might have been some of the best writing and cinematography for a show that I've seen for a very long time. It felt like you were in a video game.
It really did.
I wanted to scream a lot of times because of how intense it was. But what I loved so much is you're literally watching the daughter walk through her daily life. And everything is happening behind her. Like, so many things, and the creepiness and the tension behind it. How did y'all think that the grandmother was going to kill the girl?
I mean, it came close.
Were y'all expecting the way she died?
I was not expecting that.
I don't know. Joel being Joel, that was going to happen. If he, when the grandmother came after the daughter, him you saw on the back and the sticker, even from someone who's never played the games, never done anything, but I'm familiar enough with the storyline that I understand the characters. He had that Desert Storm sticker. He's gonna step in. He's gonna do something.
Well, that's why I say I knew the daughter was going to die. We all knew because
she wasn't in the trailer.
Yeah, none of the trailers, but the emotion that you felt behind it was so great.
The chemistry between, for just a short period, we only got, what was the beginning? 20 minutes? I want to say 20, 25 minutes.
25 minutes, something like that.
Anyway, we got that short amount of time to fall in love with her, to feel everything she's feeling, which that's the most tension in a movie, and I'm not really a big zombie movie person, but that one actually made me love it.
Yeah.
What did y'all think of Ellie?
She's a Spitfire.
Lovely. 1, 2.
Honestly, I was thinking that I didn't think she was going to be. I was afraid to kind of see what she was going to do because I mean the actress, I hadn't really seen her in much, but she was excellent.
Especially because for young actors, there are a lot of good young actors, but sometimes with young ones, it's hit or miss as far as acting ability. They haven't had the chance to grow.
I will say this: if you go through and look at some of the young actors, just in general, you can talk about Jenna Ortega, you can talk about Emma Myers, you can talk about any of the Stranger Things cast. They're very, very personable, very charismatic, but very weird. They have very weird personalities. Like the girl who played Ellie, Bella Ramsey. She talks about how much she enjoyed her death in Game of Thrones. And they were showing a picture of her in one of the videos, and she's being held by the giant, and like they had to throw blood up to her so that she didn't have to have too much blood in her mouth. And so, in seeing that, you're seeing a different class of young actors and actresses, and I think that's a good thing. I'm excited to see this new class.
It would definitely bring a more realistic aspect to all these shows, because I haven't enjoyed a show like this in a while. I think the last one that I really enjoyed off of HBO like this was House of the Dragon.
Did y'all enjoy the 20-year time jump, or wish that we could have spent some time seeing Joel get to that point, or do you think it needed to get to where we are?
I think we kind of needed to see him at his darkest moment, at his desperation. Like when he's with his daughter, he's the good man. He's trying to do right. But then when we jump forward, he's a criminal. He sells drugs. And you see that parallel between his daughter and then Ellie, because when he kills the woman, his daughter is shocked. There's that remorse he has afterward. Then you fast forward to the end where he beats the guard to death, and Ellie's into it.
Oh, she's so excited. She's like, let's go.
Like she's like, finally, there's this protector figure, someone who's going to deal out the justice of people that have done something to her, and he's happy for it as well.
I'll say I think the interesting thing about the show, and I love the show. I thought the first episode was great, but that first 20 minutes was so excellent. I mean, the rest of that episode was good, but when you go from just that excellent beginning where you so much tension, so much is happening, you're seeing the show through the young girl's eyes, and so you are emotionally being attached to this girl, which is really interesting. Like, getting that emotional attachment there is really, really interesting.
And just I actually, they sold it to me. It's very hard to sell family dynamic.
Especially that quickly.
But the little birthday thing with the watch and the movie, it just kind of broke your heart. And I even believed the brother. The parts with Joel and his brother were very believable. They worked in tandem as trying to get out of the city. It was
that was what was so interesting. You never saw either of them trying to backstab either one. They were very. It was very good. I loved the episode. We got asked this on on the community tab. One sec, let me go ahead and pull this up so we can talk about it. Of course, I can't see it on here. One sec. Who said it? Sorry, keep bantering. Audrey, what was your thoughts of
Well, I'm gonna go back to like the zombies. What did y'all think of the zombies? Because I've seen a lot of zombie movies, zombie shows, and I was more creeped out by these zombies than other zombies I've ever seen.
the only thing that I had to compare it to, and it's not a great movie or a great comparison, but most of the zombie movies, they're really decayed. They're almost Walking Dead. Walking Dead was good, but you got to admit the zombies were kind of cheesy in the beginning.
Yeah.
Whereas these, it was like paranormal and infection. It was like Z Nation, things like that. Where it actually was. I love the scene in the beginning. It was just set up the show perfectly with the doctor talking about the fungi and the host. He was joking about it's like, oh, you're crazy, all this, and then he's like, we lose, and it's like, oh. And just all the things just drained from his face. It's just pure white.
Well, here's what the question was. This is from Captain Kipper 4858. The Last of Us, and if you think it will change the story of the games and maybe alter it, do you think we're going to see an alteration of the main story, or do you think they're going to keep with the story from the games?
I mean, does anything go completely with the original story?
I think you're going to see more development, but I think the beats are going to stay the same. I think you're going to keep with the video game beats. I think it's going to stay pretty accurate because you don't have to deviate.
I don't think it would be popular if they did deviate too much. Some deviation is fine. Like, there's going to be little nitpicks. As I'm a big reader, so anything that's adapted from a book that I like, it's like there's little nitpicks. But if you stay within the course line, I'm fine. And this storyline is supposed to be one of the best video game adaptation storylines ever.
I've heard the first game is great. I know a lot of people have problems with the second game. I don't really know fully the reasoning. I know there's good reasoning. I just don't know it. I think this show, at first I was not actually as excited about the show as like House of the Dragon. but I felt like this show did so well with tension.
Mm.
And I think a good show handles tension well. If you can get your audience on suspense, like a good horror movie, like in House of the Dragon, you are dealing with suspense the entire time. You're on the edge of your seat. You're feeling the tension. You want to scream because it feels so tight and so. But that was what you saw with this episode last night. I'm hoping the show gets back to that feeling from the very beginning of the episode.
And I think it will. We first part set up all the tension. We got close to the characters. Second part kind of let us into the world. We now know how it works. How the government is in disarray. Is that kind of balance between really authoritarian type leadership and all the pandemic type sickness of the zombies or the infection.
Let me ask you this, and this might be a weird question, and we've kind of saw this with the pandemic we went out of. You see this authoritarian government. Is the government a bad thing in a situation like this? Like, do you feel like the government should have to actually step in and take over like an authoritarian? Or do you feel like it should go down to the freedom of these people in this type of situation where you've got zombies killing everybody?
It's a very big theoretical.
I know, it's very big. I mean, but that's why I say you have one way where you have the authoritarianness of it without the chaos. But if there is no one leading, there's chaos. It's hard, ain't it? And I'm not saying the same thing with like when we had the pandemic.
You're saying in this fictionalized world where they go through this trauma, should this type of thing happen?
Yeah.
In that world, I'm not sure. It seems to do a lot more damage than it does anything else, because it's almost to the point where it's like, yes, we have all this infection, you're trying to quote unquote save us, but it's more like you're pretending to be our betters. You are doing so in a way that makes life to the point where I don't care anymore. I would rather just die.
But here's the difference, though, and we kind of see this with The Walking Dead, that show. And I think this is different in later seasons. I've only watched till Negan shows up, a little bit after Carl dies. But you see it. There's not really an authoritarian government over them, and they're just killing each other.
Mm-hmm.
The chaos isn't from the zombies; it's from people, and so they're killing each other.
But we know in the world, at least the limited knowledge that we do of The Last of Us, that out in the wilderness there actually are other humans. There is rapers that are there are murderers. There's, as they said in the show, there are slavers. All these things that are current, and it's almost to the point where you almost have to do the Walking Dead type of creating your own community to enforce your own rules, because the authoritarian regime and the Fireflies, they're two sides of the same. They both act in the same way. Those bombs and explosives almost killed his friend and almost killed other people, and it's a very delicate situation.
It's a very gray area. It's very gray, but I mean, at the same time, if you look at the authoritarian government, they're all having jobs, they're all getting food, even though the situation is terrible. They're still able to put food on the table, and they're still able to do certain things. If it was just mob rule, you wouldn't see that.
Now you're getting into philosophy, which is more, which matters more, utilitarianism or the idea of freedom for the sake of living the Indominea, the good life.
I went deep with this one, didn't I?
You went deep, and you're making us all balance on the edge.
You're welcome. But I love the episode. I thought it was so good. I loved everyone in it. I thought the situations that they were being put into was just fun. Anything else y'all want to say on this one? Anything specific?
I am looking forward to the rest of it. I am aware that it's I think there's supposed to be 9 episodes total because this one was originally supposed to be 2 episodes, but it was turned to 1. It almost felt like a movie. I'm just really amped up for the next week.
Well, in saying that, everyone, if you haven't already, hit that like button. Comment below what you think of The Last of Us. Did you like the episode? Did you not? Also, hit the subscribe because we're still trying on our route to 200,000 by the end of the year, which I think we can do it with the route we're going with shorts and everything else. And if you checked us out because of shorts, like check out our other content, check out our trailer reaction tonight. And in saying that, we have some comments in the live chat. Finally. Let me pull it up. I'll pull it up for 1 sec. There we go. What is your favorite scary movie from Mason Cliver? Jonathan, you start, then Audrey.
Thanks.
I'm,
You all start because I'm not really a big horror movie person.
You don't really have one? I think if I'm going to have any horror scary movie, it's probably going to be A Quiet Place.
Yeah, Quiet Place is good. I don't know. Horror movies are good, but I've always preferred the psychological thrillers to horror movies. Like more Hannibal Lecter type stuff.
As y'all can tell, we're not horror scary movie people.
like the one I remember from, I think I was in high school, When a Stranger Calls.
Oh, was it good?
Yeah, but it's based on an urban legend.
That one's...
Like, the premise of the story was from one of my favorite books, Growing Up Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
You know what? Any of the Halloween movies, they're just fun.
So for that last one,
That last movie.
you can't say that anymore. That last one was absolutely horrendous.
Oh man, that was ooh. What would y'all say is the best horror franchise
Horror franchise.
that you don't really see a bad movie in?
Not a bad movie and a horror franchise. That is an oxymoron.
I know, right? I would say the best, and they'd still continue it really well. I would say the Child Play. I think Chucky. I think every one of them. There are a couple that are not great, but they are pretty consistent, and that's hard to say for a horror franchise.
What was the horror movie y'all walked into when you were kids?
Mine was It.
I think mine was Child's Play.
Mine actually was Child's Play. My father was watching it, and I got up late at night. So that's the one that I saw when I was a child.
Yeah, I think I was at my grandparents' house, and they weren't paying attention to what we were watching, and I think my older brother turned it over there, and they were like, turn it off. And I'm glad they did, because at that age, like, it really creeps me out.
Well, for me, with It, I was probably like 5 or 6, and my dad and my granddad were downstairs watching it, and they had it was more playing in the background. They were talking to each other, and I walked down, and they sent me upstairs like, you don't need to be watching this. So I'm like, okay. So I walk upstairs, and I turn on the TV to the channel that was on, because I'm like, I am so curious. And so it gets to the point where it is being going down the drain, and like the kids are starting to win, but so creepy, and it scarred me. Like, I had nightmares for weeks for that stupid clown. And then I go to Kroger with my dad, and the stupid movie is on the shelf, and I see It in like the clown, and it creeped me out.
All right, let's all go watch Megan after this.
I do want to actually watch that movie.
It looks it's an interesting concept.
Hey, it's doing well. I mean, the movie's killing it in the theaters right now. We're planning on seeing Avatar in IMAX this weekend.
Yes, we are.
I cannot wait. It's gonna be so good. I cannot wait. But yeah, I mean, but yeah, horror wise, that's about anything else. Anyone else got anything in the live chat? Let us know what you think. If not, I think we're about to end for the day. What'd y'all think of the episode?
It's great.
A lot easier than. I think we're starting to relax a little bit on screen a little bit.
Yeah. You get used to hearing your voice.
Oh, I never go back and watch these. They're just there. I'm like, if you like them, you like them. But like, I don't know why you like us. I'm sorry. I don't know if I'm likable. Just say it. But we dove into philosophy on this one, so that was
That's your fault.
I honestly I like those kind of conversations. I like a conversation that goes a little bit deeper, a lot more deeper thought process, especially like in the comments. Like if y'all like it, let us know. Like give us a thought on the show. But in saying that, let's go ahead and head on out. Hit that like button, comment below, hit the subscribe, and we'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.